Welcome, everybody, to our weekly Litter Media Radio pregame show. This is typically about what game we're covering on Friday night, but we've got a doubleheader for you coming up this week with games on both Friday and Saturday night. It's boys FAC basketball with Miami Trace at Jackson on Friday and MSL Buckeye girls action, Circleville at Taze Valley. I'm Mike Smith along with Aaron Glandon, and this will be probably our busiest week yet. This, when we're done, will be 3 games this week.
Yeah, because we had a game Tuesday night. Which
was a barn burner. Came down to a last-second shot with Unioto beating Zane Trace for first place in the SVC. We're not going to pontificate a whole lot on each of these games because we have 4 coaches to tell us all about what's coming up in these respective games. And since Friday comes before Saturday, we'll start there first after this coming break with Miami Trace head coach Ben Ackley. All that coming up on the Litter Media Game of the Week pregame show.
At Country Clipper, pride runs deep. We take pride in knowing our mowers help create a space for families to make memories. That our features transform mowing into an enjoyable experience. Most importantly, we take pride in knowing the decision to purchase a Country Clipper will be one you can be proud of for years to come. Country Clipper zero-turn mowers.
If you can't give true love to me, I'll understand. Just
it's only worth it if you enjoy it. Michelob Ultra.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
At Rathkamp Financial, we act as your advocate in all wealth matters. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust with our customized investment solutions. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
We've had a little camera issue, so we can't show you Ben Ackley live with us and in person, but he is here. I rest assured that he is here. In fact, Ben, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Sure thing. We want to get, first of all, a health update on you because you gave us a scare here a few weeks back and found yourself in the hospital. We're told a heart attack. Was that the case?
Yes, I actually had a 100% blockage in my Widowmaker. Pretty serious medical emergency happened started during the 4th quarter of the Jamestown game, and I actually thought I had indigestion, but it turned out to be a major heart attack. And doctors at Adina, at Chillicothe, and at Fayette County did a very, very good job, basically saved my life. So I'm in their debt for sure, and but things are getting better day by day.
Well, we're grateful to have you back amongst us again because you are one of the more fun coaches to watch on the sideline. And so what is your role now? Are you more in to say, okay, stay on the bench, you can still coach, but stay on the bench, or do you have restraints like that?
Yes, right now I'm permitted to go to practice, but I can't be in the heat of the battle at practice. So I help with practice preparation, game planning still, just not as much the day-to-day yet. I go back next week to get completely cleared, and they're going to do a cardiogram, I believe is what it's called, and check all my numbers and see where we go from there. And hopefully, I'm down 25 pounds since the heart attack. The diet's completely changed. So hopefully all those life adjustments will make a difference.
And that's fantastic. Happy to hear that. Of course, you have to depend upon some good assistant coaches to help you out. So who is calling the shots on game night for you now?
It's kind of a joint effort. I'm very blessed to have what I think is the best staff in Southeastern Ohio. I know there's a lot of great coaches who respect a lot, but these guys had a lot thrown at them in a short time. They had less than 24 hours to get a game plan together and didn't really know what was going on with me after this took place. Brian Southward is the acting head coach. He's got the final say on everything at this point, but Alex Marting and Jeff Smallwood and Zach Bloom are other coaches, and they all play a prominent role in not only game day, but practice as well. And it's been a great chance for us to show our kids and everyone around us that it's not just the kids that all play a role in everything that goes on, but it's the staff as well. And I couldn't be any more proud of our guys and how they've accepted the challenge of all this.
And some of these guys have been with you for a while, have they not? When you were the girls varsity coach, weren't some of them on your staff?
Yeah, Coach Southward was with me. Coach Bloom helped some as in a side role with scouting and stuff, but he didn't coach at that time because his daughter was in our program. So he didn't want to coach his daughter. But he's done a great job with our freshmen. And the rest of the staff, we've been together for 3 years. Coach Southward and Coach Smallwood and I all come from the same background, playing for Coach Schaefer at Washington Courthouse. So that's a great asset as well. You know, I know their background. I know what they've been taught, how they've been taught. And Coach Marting has been in our program, you know, basically since he got out of school. He worked for Coach Pitzer. He played for John Stauffer, and he's got a great basketball background, comes from a great basketball family, and he's going to be a great head coach one day as well. So we're very blessed to have the staff we have and feel very comfortable moving forward.
I got to think that anytime a program goes through a health issue, especially with a head coach, the kids have to grow up real quick too. And there's a cohesiveness that probably has taken place that if this heart attack wouldn't have happened, that may not have come along until way late in the season.
Yeah, I mean, every group kind of takes on their own identity, and we tell our kids day in and day out, right now, as you get to this point of the year, these are the dog days of high school basketball. You're kind of right in the middle. You're nearing the end of league play, and the teams that get along, the chemistry's good and like each other and play for one another seem to excel at this point. And the teams that have one foot on the baseball field or on the track or tennis court or whatever they do in the spring, you know, it kind of shows in their play and their makeup. And last year we weren't happy with the way we ended the year. And that was one of our selling points to our kids. We had the best off season we've had in the 3 years since we've taken over and took our kids to AP prep there in Chillicothe. They're absolutely the best around. They did a great job training our kids, and our kids really responded to all of that. And I think that was the start. But to answer your question, you know, our kids have bonded. I think it helps that we have 5 seniors. And 4 of the 5 have played 3 years of varsity basketball, so that helps. We've got a couple sophomores that get big minutes for us and play a big role in what we do, and they're growing up, and through the leadership of the seniors, that helps. And it's been a growing experience. The best years I had in coaching, there's always something that comes up, and it could be a crisis of anything. It could be players getting along. It could be parent issues. It could be injuries. It could be a lot of different things in the equation. We definitely didn't plan on this, and it was unexpected. My whole group of seniors came, saw me in the hospital, and a couple of the underclassmen. It was very humbling, to be honest, and they've certainly grown.
Yeah, that's great to hear, and get happy that you're back on your feet again. You talk about the experience your team has. You take on Jackson this Friday night, who has the opposite situation. They have 1 senior and a handful of underclassmen, and Max Morrow has really got it going on right now. They won their 10th straight game this past Tuesday. I think a lot of people are kind of wary of playing Jackson right now.
Well, I know we were weary the first time we played Jackson. Anytime you play Jackson, you know, they're well coached, they're well prepared. They play at an extremely high level as far as intensity and intelligence. They do so many things that present problems for their opponent that they're very scary. And the fact that we're going there, we'd much rather play Jackson at Jackson in December than January, which we could say about many teams in our league. This is a hard league and a very challenging league. And when you go on the road, they're always tough. But, our kids will come and they'll be ready to play. Jackson has our full attention. We think we're well prepared coming in and we'll have a good game plan put out there, which will they. Coach Morrow always does a very good job of game planning and throwing in some wrinkles that you haven't seen. And at this point of the year, there really isn't any secrets between the two teams. We know approximately, what they're going to do, who they're going to play, and they know the sets that we're going to run, and they know how we're trying to do things and what our strengths and weaknesses are. So it becomes about execution and working together and coming together as one at the right time. And I know our kids and staff are extremely excited to play in an atmosphere like will be Friday night. And I look forward to going down there, and we always appreciate the challenge they bring.
Of course, you have to make sure things happen your way. You got to make good shot selection, watch the transition baskets, and don't turn over that basketball. But other than that, what do you need to have happen to come away with a win from Jackson?
I think Jackson, when we play them, it's two completely different schemes as far as they're smaller and they're going to try to spread us out. And they can shoot the ball, and they've got guys that do very well off the dribble, attacking the rim. We have to play very good, sound defense, no matter whether we're in zone or man, make sure our angles are good. We close out well on shooters and have hands up. And for Jackson on the other side, I'd say Coach Morrow, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but they're going to have to figure out ways to combat our size. Adam Guthrie presents a problem for everybody. At 6'7" underneath, they don't grow players like him too often. We've been very fortunate to have Andrew and now Adam in the last 3 years we've been here. So we play inside out. There's no secret there, and they'll have a game plan for that. I thought they did a very good job on Adam the first time with pushing him off his spot and doing a lot of things that put him in intriguing positions that we've watched film on and hopefully he'll grow from. But it's just it's a big contrast, and we've got to figure out how we guard them on the perimeter, and they got to figure out how they guard us on the interior. So like I said, that's what's great about basketball is it'll come down to execution of the players. But as a coach, it's very nerve-wracking leading up to the game, trying to figure out how we put our kids in the best position to be successful.
Well, Coach, we're excited to see your club in action, and I know you're excited to get back into the action again. And we wish you well and that you get a clean bill of health next week and get right back on the sideline.
Thanks to Dan Ramey and his interview with Ben Ackley, and great to hear that Ben, although he's not on the sideline actively coaching, he's improving and hopes to get cleared to be back in action next week.
Yep.
Now, that was a very scary time with that heart attack, and a lot of people were all over. It was kind of neat to see all the different teams offering their prayers that Ben get a speedy recovery, and looks like he's well on his way. When we come back after the break, we'll be hearing from their opponents, Max Morrow of the Jackson Ironmen, all coming up on the Game of the Week pregame show.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
Happy to have Max Morrow with us now. And Max, of course, you find yourself in the middle of a 10-game winning streak. Not every coach can say that. In fact, the last time I talked to somebody like that, it was Gary Kello when the Cavaliers won a state tournament run. And maybe, who knows, maybe you'll have something like that happen to you at the end of the year.
Yeah, we're just taking it one game at a time. We got a couple big juggernauts on our schedule left. We got to work through those and conference opponents and Division II Southeast District teams before we can worry about that. But yes, it's been a great run. I'm proud of our kids. It's exciting for them. They got a lot more confidence through these last 10 games. It's funny because we've won some close ones. They haven't always been easy, but with the young roster that we have, it's been quite a ride.
Any coach who's had a streak like this can go back and look and say, man, that one possession game made a difference for us. First, to keep that streak going, but suddenly the confidence gets built. And much like a team who's struggling and maybe going through an 8 or 10 game losing streak, having those close games, either side of the knife, it's fun or difficult.
Absolutely. Obviously, for us right now, it's been a heck of a fun ride because winning is what all of us want to end up doing. Obviously, we want to get better. We want to do things the right way. We want to build a great program. But at the end of the day, every kid that plays a high school sport, they're competitors. And most coaches, if you're not, I don't think you really want to get into that business. You're a competitor and you want to win. And it's great to see, like you said, our confidence. And that's the main thing I can see just from practice to game to taking things that we do consistently and seeing, wow, this, the aha moment, it does work. We can do some of these things that coach keeps getting on me about. And we can see it come to fruition in a game where we can build some confidence and then at the end say, wow, we just beat a pretty good opponent. So that's what's nice to see, all that hard work and dedication come to the head there at the end of a game.
And I think winning those close games, that brings a little more character to you and tells you, yeah, we can play with these guys, and yeah, we can do this, and every possession does matter.
Yeah, and it's funny that the last thing you just said there, every possession matters. I think my kids hear that way too much. They like to get on me about, Coach, it's just one possession. And I'm a firm believer of every possession does matter. We've built this thing through the last 9 years, ever since I became the head coach at Jackson, through defense, and a lot of it. And you've seen games through these years; they haven't been pretty. We haven't been scoring 70, 80 points a game. We're a grind out team. We want to do things the right way. So yeah, we've actually scored some points this year where we weren't scoring near as many last year with this young roster as freshmen. But as sophomores, we've scored a little more. But at times we've given up more points. And, I get on them about every possession matters. Don't take a play off. That extra one step or half a step matters to me. It should matter to you. And, so they definitely have heard that. They hear me preach about it every day. Hey, we got to run now. We didn't get the extra 6 inches to that line. Come on, Coach. We're getting it. We're getting it. So it's definitely a battle. But my guys, they're getting it, and it's great as a coach to see the light bulb go off and see young guys realize what the hard work does to come into winning.
And you're doing it with young guns. As you mentioned, many of them played as freshmen last year. And you look at it, you've got a bunch of sophomores on here, but in the same respect, they've got a year experience. So they're 35 games into a career. And so you learn eventually, and it starts to click. And that helps you as a coach, but also the one or two upperclassmen that you have. It's like, hey, this isn't a wasted season. We're making something happen.
Yeah, and this season couldn't be on this 10-game winning streak without our senior leader, Boston Campbell. I can't not have this interview and not mention him because he's a steady force. He's been a 3-year starter in our program. He's just a great kid. He's very quiet, but you know what? When the lights come on and the games come on, he's a competitor. He scores for us. He guards. He rebounds. He does all those things right for us. And it did start. This process started last year with these freshmen. We started 3 freshmen last year, and 4 freshmen played in the rotation. And now a year later, we lose a very important senior from last year. We were pretty young last year, but Evan Jarvis, our senior, leader from last year's team, he graduates as our, leading scorer, leading rebounder. That's a lot to overcome as a young team. And these sophomores, like you said, they've already played a whole season, and that's a big deal. Just seeing the speed of the varsity game, knowing how to win, knowing certain situations, what to do, what not to do. The crowd, the student sections, it all comes into play. They've now been through it. And, we keep saying, yeah, we are young, but at the end of the day, they've had a lot of experience, whereas, some kids only get 2 years, their junior and senior year, to play varsity. These kids are already basically, a season and a half in. So that's a good thing. And like I said, it's great to see, the success that they're having along the way.
You have Miami Trace up next, and when we talked with Ben Ackley, we talked about how his team has built some cohesiveness over his health issue, having the heart attack, and how it has brought this team together. He's hoping to be back on the sideline here pretty soon, but you'll be facing his assistant coaches who've been, and let's be honest, they've been keeping the ship together pretty well.
Absolutely. Yeah, first off, Coach Ackley, what a great guy, class act, great coach, great person. I wish him nothing but the best. We've communicated through this, and I've sent my prayers his way. It's a tough guy, that first and foremost. But and he, as our messages keep going, he's definitely still thinking of his team. He's trying to sit in on practice. I'm sure he's still doing everything that a head coach can do that can't always be there right now, with them, on the bench or something. So I know he's doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff that, and he'd be the first one to tell you, a head coach is nothing without their assistants. I couldn't do this without, Dan Folks, Jordan Lower, Alec Ray, those guys keep me, engaged. They do a lot of scouting stuff for me. They bring a lot of energy to practice every day. And I'm sure Coach Ackley and their assistants are doing the same thing.
And who knows, down the road, this is a situation where a lot of people might pick his brain and say, how did you make it through it? We're going through something similar. And you hope never have to experience it, but it's good that he's back and healthy again. We're happy about that.
Absolutely. And yeah, you don't wish that situation upon anybody, or especially, young kids that in high school, it's not always easy anyways, just managing a typical day, classes, tests, girlfriend problems, and then basketball. And then all of a sudden your coach is not able to be with you, a guy that you've been with all summer and all preseason. And then all of a sudden he can't be there for you. And obviously he's still there. He just can't be at everything right now because of those health concerns. So yeah, that's a hard situation for any team. But I'll tell you what, if any team could get through it, they've done it, and they've done it really well. And they've definitely done it the right way.
Conversely, your team is a different set of guys, so to speak, from this part up than you were when you met them back in December. Having said that, you've got them at your place. What do you need to do to come away with a win Friday night against Miami Trace?
Well, it's not going to be easy. They're undefeated in the FAC for a reason. They're well coached. They're good. They're strong. They can score at all 3 levels of the basketball floor. They're pretty multiple. They have an inside game with Guthrie. Not many teams have that presence that they do, and they go with a lot of shooting on the perimeter. And they have depth, so they have a lot of things. They check a lot of boxes. When you're scouting a team, what they can do, what they do well. When we're going through that, they check most of them off. But like you said, we're definitely a different team now. We started off the year 2-4. It was a tough stretch. A lot of our kids are multiple sport athletes. athletes coming right out of football, trying to get their basketball legs. It's tough for young guys to just walk right in. You know, they didn't have a day. They had I think they had 2 days off before they came right from football right into the gym. And then we're off and running in just a couple weeks. So, you know, it's been a grind, but I definitely, both teams, I would say, and they would probably say the same thing. Basketball season's such a long season, and you go through a couple of the major holidays and Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then the New Year, and you're turning the corner, and teams change. And, you know, I would say they've definitely gotten better. I would like to think that, you know, we've gotten better. We've grown as a team. We kind of understand what we do well and how and who is going to do it. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough game, but I love our competitiveness and our guys. And, you know, you mentioned it, we're at home, and that's a big deal to a young team. We feed off our crowd. Our student section's been great. Our crowds at Jackson have been unreal this year. So, it's going to be fun. At the end of the day, you know, it's what high school sports are all about, getting to compete, at the top of the level in a great atmosphere, and hopefully enjoying what we're doing.
We're excited to be there and can't wait to see you guys in action. So thank you for your time and good luck to you Friday night.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. We'll see you Friday.
Thanks, Dan. And again, Jackson, they're 4-3 in the conference, mathematically pretty much eliminated, because remember, in the FAC, there's only 10 conference games. So with 3 losses, and they've played 7, that pretty much puts them out. Miami Trace at 7-0, they're a game ahead of Washington Courthouse, but again, Jackson, potential giant killer here because they've won 10 straight games. Again, that airtime somewhere around 7:15 Friday night on Litter Media Radio. Now we look ahead to Saturday night, a huge Mid-State League Buckeye girls basketball game. Circleville at Tays Valley. We'll be hearing first from Tays Valley coach Trevor Youngkin. That's coming up on the Litter Media pregame show.
Kingston National Bank was founded in 1909 by local businessmen. The concept of a local bank supporting our community's financial needs with local decisions made sense. This is Phil Evans, President and CEO of Kingston National Bank. I invite you to make KNB your bank. We continue to make local decisions that benefit our communities. Experience innovative products and excellent customer service. When you need us most, you can count on KNB. Our community, your bank. Kingston National Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Whenever I first applied for the ArchWiz opportunity, oh, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
At Rathkamp Financial, we offer customized investment solutions and superior client service. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
Now that's one fast mower. Take command of your lawn with Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower.
Joining us on our Litter Media Game of the Week pregame show, which we have a total of 3 games this week. We've already had our Tuesday game. We've got Friday boys, Saturday girls, and then we're talking now with Trevor Youngkin of the Tays Valley Lady Vikings, head coach, as they will be hosting undefeated Circleville on Saturday night. Trevor, before we talk about the game itself, which is a biggie in the Mid-State League Buckeye, there's also something pretty big going on at 6:30 tonight as you're honoring all of the past girls basketball league champions that have been held at Tays Valley. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's actually going to be a really exciting night. The game is obviously the cap of the night, but with Tays Valley leaving the Mid-State League, there's a lot of mixed feelings. You know, there's a lot of people that are concerned, excited, nervous. Leaving the Mid-State League, going to OCC is going to be a big step. And this is our last year in the Mid-State League. And being a true Viking, I've been around. I graduated from Tays. I've coached here, boys and girls. And I saw the tradition that the girls has put into this, and playing in the league, and winning multiple mid-state league championships. I believe we have 17 in the years starting since 1980. And that's pretty impressive. And there's a lot of talented girls that came through Tays Valley. So I thought, this would be a night that we need to reflect back and show the youth that we've had a great tradition and give praise to the Mid-State League. Jim Hayes has been a long time affiliate with the Mid-State League, and he was our former AAD. And we have a strong roots in the Mid-State League. So it's a sad moment. It's a great moment at the same time, and we just want to celebrate that. And I thought, being the head girls coach, why not bring back the past champions? Have them walk through the gym one more time, give them the praise they deserve for the time they spent, playing basketball and helping Tays Valley be successful in women's basketball. And I thought this would be a great night. And plus it's Saturday, and there's nothing better than in Circleville. Circleville has been in the Mid-State League with us, and a great tradition, battling with them in all sports, but even in girls basketball, it's always been a battle. And now here they are sitting at the top, and we're right behind them, and it's going to be a really fun night, and honoring past players and also playing the game.
Of course, we don't want to leave anybody out, so I won't get into names, but I can remember when we were at the radio station, a lot of times if Tays Valley girls had a long run, that's when Coach Sheets was there. We picked them up 2 or 3 years at the district and regional level, and some of those kids that he had went on and played Division I college basketball.
Yeah, they did. Amy Colburn definitely won. Mindy Fuzetti, Bridget Oberer. I know Bridget and Mindy will be there in attendance, so we're excited about that. Hopefully, maybe you get a chance to interview them and talk to them about their collegiate career and what they did. And Amy, I haven't heard from Amy, but Amy went to Xavier. She was one of the first ones that Jeff Sheets had that went to I think collegiate level, and so it's just. It's a fun night. Bridget actually texted me the other day. Her and I are classmates. I was always jealous they were winning, and we were always coming in second. So Bridget's coming down. She hasn't been back to Tays Valley for a while. So I talk about these women to my current players about hey, set your goals high. Try to match what they did and try to compete like they did. And it's good for my girls to see them and coming back, and it's just a great thing that I'm really proud that we're doing.
Of course, some of your squad this year, which you were just talking about a moment ago, still in the running for a championship, are defending MSL Buckeye champs from last year. And as you said, this is going to be a must win to get or to stay in that hunt, because we're getting down close to the end.
Yeah, that's definitely today's speech. I'm the type, I'm never going to put a game ahead of a game that we have to play. And we just came off a good win against a very talented Fairfield Union team that, they're struggling right now. They're 4-11, but they got good guards. They just unlucky at some situations. And last night we were in a battle, and now today at practice, we can start focus on Circleville, and Circleville is just extremely talented. They have great guards. They have a great post player inside. They got great forwards. They're a solid round team. And it's going to be a very good battle. But yeah, it's one of those things that now we got to prepare, and like you said, it has to be a must win. It's one of those things that we got to come focused. We got to be laser focused, as I tell the girls every day, and we got we got to limit turnovers. We got to execute on offense, and we got to sit down and play really good defense against a good squad. So it's we're going to put a game plan together and do the best of our ability, and it comes down to the girls. We've kind of got to that point where we are defending champs. That's nice to know, but we still got to play, and no one cares about last year. They care about the moment that we're in, and we got to go and we got to perform. As my old college coach said, you don't produce, you lose. So you got to produce. You got to go out and you got to perform and perform to the best of your ability and make things happen. So we'll have a good practice here the next couple of days, and be ready for a very talented Circleville team coming in.
From your first round match that you lost at Circleville, what were some of the takeaways that you felt like you did well against them that maybe you can, add on to that?
I thought our defense was very, very well in that game. We held them to a fair amount. I can't remember off the top of my head what we held them to, but I know it was not their normal average. They've been putting up some points against some other people. I know last night they put up 66 points against Hamilton. So obviously, I thought our defense did a very good job. We just got to keep that up. We got to be able to match their skill, contain them. Obviously, it's going to be really fun to watch. You got Kennedy Youngkin for us in the post, and you got the Edgerton girl for Circle in the post. She's a freshman. She's very talented. So it's going to be nice to see the two bigs go against each other. I know a lot of people are kind of looking forward to that. But then also their guards. You got Gavin McConnell from Circleville, senior guard, and Alyssa Horsley. I mean, it's kind of like a really neat matchup. It really, really is. And they know each other. And so it's kind of like we match well with them. They match well together. And so if we can do that, contain them again, we're hoping to. I mean, there's still a talented team that can score. We just can't let them get on too many rolls is our goal.
Litter Media Radio will be there. We'll have the ceremony starting at 6:30, honoring the champions of the past and looking forward to the play-by-play broadcast of what we hope will be a dandy later that night. Trevor, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for what you guys do, and have a great week.
Again, Lady Vikings head coach Trevor Youngkin on our Litter Media pregame show.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
If you can't give true love to me, I'll understand. Just
it's only worth it if you enjoy it. Michelob Ultra.
Each week, Litter Media presents the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. If you have an athlete to nominate, any amateur athlete is eligible. Simply visit littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Make your nominations now at littermedia.com. Click on Player of the Week.
And just a quick reminder before we get to Circleville Lady Tigers coach Brian Bigham, we still have the announcement of our weekly Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Player of the Week. That's coming up after Brian Bigham's interview about their big game with Tays Valley Saturday night.
Happy to have with us now Brian Bigham, who, of course, is the Lady Tigers coach up at Circleville, undefeated, 15-0 going into their battle with Tays Valley this weekend. Coach, try to explain what this season has been like. You've got a neat mixture of experienced players, but a lot of young players on your team too.
Yeah, and not many players too, I guess, at the same time. I mean, we've only got 12 girls total at the high school level, but no, I think you hit it. The experience of Gabby and Faith and Maddie coming back from last year, spending the season with me, and then you have, the youth of Isabel Perini and Addison Edgington and Allie Thornsley mixing in there, and it's I think as the seasons went on, we've continued to gel and continued to gel and improve in different aspects of how we play.
You probably had the perfect scenario for you last year. You come off a successful season the year before and the year before that, and then last year you stubbed your foot a couple of times along the way, but you still managed to make some things happen, and now you're building off of that, and look, you're unscathed coming into the season here, into the final home stretch, so to speak.
Yeah, no, last year we weren't always pretty, but we always competed. I mean, we were just one game short of winning 20 games last year. The girls do what I expect, and the fact I expect them to compete night in, night out, practice in, practice out. And then this year, I didn't know what to expect, and I still don't. Well, I know I expected our league to be very competitive. I mean, speaking, we have Tays Valley coming up. I mean, defending league champs returning their entire team along with some very talented freshmen. Bloom Carroll returning essentially their entire team with Emily Bratton. Amanda Clear Creek returning essentially their entire team, and got it, with Taylor Evans and all them. And then, I mean, here you sit in this district, and, I've been teaching and coaching for 21 years, and the Southeast District and the amount of, I mean, I don't even want to use the word quality. I don't even know how to describe. I mean, the district's an absolute gauntlet and as loaded as I've ever seen it in 21 years. I mean, with your Fairlands and Unyota and Sheridan and Jackson and, Athens, and go down the list, Warren, Marietta, it's something else. But I knew, and I told the girls at the end of last season that essentially no one was graduating anyone in our district or our league, and that, the challenge over the summer and spring and fall was to continue to improve, to give ourselves a chance to compete against those upper level, high quality teams.
And when you look at this district, it's a shame that only one team really gets to come out of it. And of course, when you get down to it, Final Four and so on and so forth, but still such a rich area for talent this year. It's tough to see everybody else fall by the wayside.
Yeah, it's something else. And, I'm about at that point in the scouting season where, I need to get out and start seeing some of these teams more. And, but I mean, it's nice. I mean, it's good for our district that we have that many teams. I mean, if you look in the, polls are polls, but I mean, if you look, I mean, we've had 4 or 5 teams out of the Southeast District in the top 10 in the state in the AP poll, which just goes to show what a great district we play in.
Yeah. Now this weekend, of course, you want to keep the ball rolling. You have to pick up a win at Tays Valley to do so. You've got a bit of separation, a little cushion, so to speak, but there's no room for error, is there?
No, we've talked from the beginning of the season that our league, if you don't show up any given night, you're going to get knocked off. I mean, if you start looking at records and paying attention. So, I mean, we've tried to, and I feel for the most part we've done so. We've tried to just take game by game approach. Like I said, we know the level of talent that Tays Valley has, and we know that I know that Trevor's going to put them in the best situation possible to, win the game, and it's going to be a battle. I mean, just like it was last year both times, and like it was the first time that we played them this year. I mean, they're going to give us their best, and they're going to get our best, and that's what you expect anytime Tays Valley and Circleville play.
They present that inside threat with Kennedy Youngkin, and then, of course, they've got the outside shooting. You match up pretty well in those areas. What do you need to achieve to be able to come away with a win?
Well, you are right. I mean, in terms of player for player matching up starting 5, I mean, we're about as balanced, athleticism, size, and all that stuff with them. We just, it's my job to put together a game plan, for each opponent that we play. And, we essentially almost for the entirety of this season, we've run a 2-3 zone. And then, my job with the girls is we tend to tailor our zone to our opponent. So, I mean, that's my job, is to make sure we understand our assignments and different sets and whatnot, and, what to pay attention to. And then, the other thing I give Trevor a lot of credit for is, I mean, I think he always puts his team in the best situation possible defensively, and comes up with a challenging scheme, every time that he plays us to give him give himself the best chance to win. So I always respect that, and know that we'll have to be prepared for maybe some type of wrinkle that he'll have for us on Saturday.
One wrinkle takes place before the game. You talk about really creating a distraction. All those teams coming back from the Tays Valley days in which they won all those Mid-State League championships, all of them will be recognized before your contest. How do you keep your kids focused on the mission at hand and not be carried away by the distraction of celebration in that respect?
It's that's something I started thinking about today, is how to handle that. I'm still debating, and I'll probably talk to a few people that I respect around and try to get a feel on it. But that's, I mean, if we're the team, I guess I'll say this: if we're the team, I think we are. Then that shouldn't be a distraction, because when the ball goes up in the air, we got to be ready to play no matter what happens before, whether there's 4 overtimes in the JV game or whatever. So if my girls are who I think they are, and I know they are, then that shouldn't be a distraction. But you are right. I mean, it is something different, and that, once again, that falls on me to handle that however I see fit.
And then to throw in there one more distraction: Mike Smith and Tom Beard showing up to broadcast the game. That should be the highlight of the night, right?
Most definitely. Most definitely. So we appreciate that anytime, I guess that's a nice thing. I mean, we've started to, I don't know how many people in the area, thought we would have the success we've had so far, but we've started to get a little more coverage from the media, and the Columbus Dispatch reached out recently and were at our game last night, and it's nice for the girls. I love them. I think they're awesome, and it's when you have success. I mean, that's kind of how it works in sports. I mean, when you have success, more people notice you, and you get a little more recognition. So, but at the same time, kind of as I mentioned earlier, we really try not to get caught up into that. Our focus needs to be on Tays Valley and nothing else other than Tays Valley, when we woke up this morning. So that's what we talked about after the Hamilton game last night, was to enjoy it. But when you wake up, it's time to turn the page and start getting ready for Tays Valley.
We are getting ready as well, and we will see you Saturday night at Tays Valley there in Asheville, the Pickaway County Battle. Good luck to you.
All right. Thanks much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Dan. Really looking forward to the weekend. The 4 coaches that we heard from in today's program, tremendous coaching ability. 2 of those 4 have Final Four experience. Only Brian Bigham is one of them. It came in the sport of baseball. A number of years ago, we had a chance to broadcast that great Circleville baseball team that he had. So, again, Friday night, FAC boys basketball with Miami Trace at Jackson. And then on Saturday night, we'll try to carry the ceremonies, the pregame ceremonies, recognizing all of the former Tays Valley Girls Basketball League champions. Trevor thought that I mentioned 6:30, but I think that they're thinking it'll be a little bit closer to 7 with the play-by-play of the game on Litter Media Radio immediately after that. So before we close out, we certainly want to recognize our weekly Athlete of the Week, brought to you by Neil Coleman Insurance, Wyandotte Mutual, and this week it's Chillicothe High School graduate and Cedarville University senior Javon Moffmer. He was also the Great Midwest Conference Men's Basketball Athlete of the Week. He led the Yellow Jackets to their 6th consecutive win and posted a triple-double, his first in his college career, against Wilberforce, with 16 points, 12 assists, and 11 rebounds. For the week, he averaged 16.5 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 7 assists per game. And Javon is also the league's scoring leader per game at 20.1 points per game. Congratulations to Javon Moffmer as our Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Athlete of the Week.
And we have a photo of him from 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Dan dug this up. This was, I think, in Dan's memory file. Of course, Dan used to be the voice of the Cavaliers on the radio. And he said this was an email that Coach Pat Beard had sent out when Javon and some of his teammates were in 6th grade. They had a perfect season and a tournament championship. But some of the other kids on that team that year, Christian Benson, Drake Helton, and then you got Javon, where the arrow is pointing to him, Jaden McNish, Giselle Howard, Connor Cohen, McKellen Lee, and Cortland Duncan on the front row. Heiss Graves, Peyton Shoemaker, who ended up being an All-Ohioan down at Waverly, Trey Beard, who's still playing basketball down at Shawnee State and was on a national championship team, Mike Herlihy, Patrick Rourke, of course, the coach coaches, Pat Beard and Jeff Benson. So,
and they hadn't lost a game in 4 years or something. Is that right?
At that age, yeah. So that, I guess the greatness eventually evolved into adulthood.
Yeah.
So thumbs up for Dan being able to catch that out of his memory file. So that's going to wrap up our weekly Game of the Week pregame show. Looking forward to talking to all of you folks on Litter Media Radio Friday night and again Saturday night with girls basketball on Saturday this week. Aaron, any final thoughts?
Nope.
You've been pretty quiet.
We'll see you this weekend.
Okay. Have a great one, everyone. Hope to see you out there at a ball game. And remember sportsmanship. We saw 2 people ejected out of the gymnasium Tuesday. I hear these public service announcements from the OHSA every day. Show good sportsmanship, adults, when you're at the ball games this weekend. Until we see you on the radio, for Aaron Glandon and Dan Ramey, this is Mike Smith saying so long from all of us at Litter Media on the Game of the Week pregame show.